What's up, guys? Welcome back to Off the Field Cricket Podcast. In today's video, we'll be paying tribute to James Anderson, who currently achieved the milestone of 600 wickets in Test cricket, which is the most by any fast bowler in international cricket. So, across generations. So, I mean, Anderson as a bowler, he's had the knack of picking the biggest fishes out from all the international teams. From Sachin Tendulkar to Virat Kohli to Jack Callis, some of the Kumar Sangakkara. These are some of the highest run getters in Test cricket history, and to be making them his bunny is honestly a great feat in itself. Not statistically, but just getting them out on a regular basis is a skill that not many bowlers around the world may be having, because the best batsmen in the world somehow find a way to get around international bowlers in one way or the other. So to be consistently getting out some of the top batsmen in the world is a major achievement, and is testimony to his skill set. So yeah, what do you want to say about that?
Yeah, I think he's completely mastered the art of swing. If you see, since the time he debuted, I was watching a video recently and he was swinging it from leg stump onto off stump. So he's always had that great outswinger. But a few years back, he also developed that amazing in swinger as well. So he's because he's mastered the art of this swing bowling, he's easily able to set up any batsman in the world. That is why you see he's able to make few of the greatest batsmen in the world his bunny. So he can easily set them up with bowling a few outswingers and then one sharp in swinger. So it's a treat to watch him bowl. Whenever a test match is going on in England, I would sit down to watch it because I just love
Great.
watching
Yeah.
him.
Sachin Tendulkar went on record to say he was the first one. James Anderson was the first one to develop the reverse swinger. Now,
Yeah.
I personally, having whatever knowledge I have, I didn't understand exactly what he meant, but it already sounds complicated by its name. So imagine facing that. Um, and I
And
personally, I feel,
imagine, because Sachin Tendulkar and Virat Kohli are the two batsmen that we Indians consider the
yeah.
best. And they both have gone on record saying that Anderson has troubled them a lot during their careers.
To be fair to
So
Anderson, even in 2018 against Virat Kohli, he troubled him quite a bit. He didn't give him any room to play shots. Virat Kohli had to come down the track to really make his space and go bang bang bang. So it wasn't that easy for him as well in 2018. It wasn't different. Um,
one
so
bowler that will make you stay up at night before the
absolutely,
game. You'll
yeah.
be thinking of it in your head. So
He just doesn't give you anything as a bowler. And Virat Kohli was dropped a couple times as well. So you got to keep that in mind. It could have been any. I mean, just imagine if
in the
he,
149 innings,
yeah,
he was a bit lucky. So
he got out. He could have been out twice. I mean, just imagine. Nobody would have been talking about Virat Kohli and how great he is if he would have been out on that moment. So, credit to Anderson, man. He created opportunities. His team couldn't grab it. That's a different thing altogether.
yeah, yeah.
And honestly, Anderson has revived Test cricket and the art of Test bowling as well. Because although we accept the fact that he was sacked from the ODI and limited overs stint, but to have that motivation still to keep going in the test arena. It's a great achievement on its own. Anderson, I'd say, is a part of a dying breed, because simply if you see, the art of reverse swing is far gone with how dynamic and how fast moving our game has become today, especially with the rise of limited overs cricket. With nobody wanting to invest time and their energy into playing test cricket, because firstly it gives you less money, it consumes a lot more time, and it takes a lot more effort and fitness. So that is testimony to how lazy and you know the international cricketers are constantly looking at lucrative opportunities to make money, rather than cherishing the test cricket as a sport. So Anderson, in that sense, is a rare breed, because he's kept on going. For a fast bowler to play till 38 itself is, I mean, credits to him, man. Credit to him, man. What do you think?
But I still think that if you want to be considered a legend in our beautiful game, you need to be a master of Test cricket. No matter how many sixes you hit in T20 cricket, if you're not able to perform in the best format, which is Test cricket, you're not going to be considered a legend of the game. So Anderson, now you can see he focused a lot more on Test cricket, which is testimony to his mental strength even after getting dropped from the ODI side. So props to him because he had that mental strength to keep going, and he is still going on. He's
Yeah.
38. It is unprecedented. A fast bowler playing at 38, uh, and he still wants to go on. He has that hunger inside him. So I think he's an absolute legend of the game, and props to him.
He can be that guy who retires at 600 test wickets, being known as one of the greatest England bowlers, English bowlers. But he doesn't want to because he's so much in love with the game, and that is great to see. As a fan, because we still stress so much in the modern generation the importance of Test cricket because it really tests you, not only your mental strength, your fitness. When you're down and out, do you still have that? Can you motivate yourself to keep going? These are things Test cricket tests you literally. So yeah.
You can actually compare that game to life. Like there'll be a lot of
Yeah.
ups and downs, but it tests you completely. So test cricket is basically, you can consider it as someone's life as well, like
Yeah.
what we call lifetime.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very important both for batsmen and for bowlers to especially by the rise of limited overs. It's very important that test cricket continues going on. Yeah.
Now moving on to simply his skill set, the art of swing bowling that he's mastered, and he's really proved to the world, James Anderson, that you do not need to bowl fast to get
Mhm.
wickets and to be successful in Test cricket, because we have that misconception and that preconceived notion that guys the likes of Pat Cummins, Jasprit Bumrah, guys who bowl express pace, are the ones who are the leading bowlers and wicket takers in international cricket. But that's a myth, if I can say so, because James Anderson says otherwise. He bowls at what, 135, 132 odd, not the quickest around, but still gets the most number of wickets and on a consistent basis. So, what do you want to say about that?
I think you need to have some amount of pace, obviously, to play and succeed at the international level. But pace is not everything. If you do not have the skill sets, because if you compare, suppose a James Anderson to a Sean Tate was one of the quickest bowlers that I've ever seen. I think he bowled the quickest ball ever as well, 161, I think. Um,
No,
but
Shoaib Akhtar has bowled the fastest. Shoaib Akhtar has bowled
yeah,
the
I think Shoaib Akhtar and Sean Tate both have the same record, but now we can't see Sean Tate anywhere. Like he's nowhere to be said as a legend or anything. That just shows that pace isn't anything. Obviously, having pace will trouble the batsman, but if you don't have that skill set to
that X factor. Yeah.
trick the batsman, yeah, if you don't have that guile to trick the batsman, then there's no point of express pace. Um,
Also, I think one of the greatest qualities of James Anderson is his ability to read the batsman. I feel he Virat Kohli, trust me, he's gone all around the world. He's gone to Australia, he's gone to South Africa, he's gone to New Zealand, he's played in India and Asia, obviously, subcontinent. Nobody's really been able to exploit his weaknesses to the level that James Anderson has been able to. He's and Stuart Broad too, and he's one of, obviously they both together form one of the most lethal pairs in international cricket, in Test cricket. um, the way he, if you've noticed, he took the ball away, consistently peppering one line and length, and then suddenly having that huge incomer that traps him in front. So just the way he's been able to pick Virat Kohli's technique, and trust me, although Virat Kohli made the technical changes in 2018, he still troubled him equally. So although he obviously didn't get him out because of drop chances and etc., we can go on about that forever. But um, although people can change their techniques, people can change their approach, they can have more intent, but James Anderson successfully troubles them all the time. That just shows the greatness of the man and the skill set that he possesses. And
yeah,
this initially in his career used to depend so much on his pace. If you go back and check out his previous clips, he was a genuine fast bowler, but now he depends obviously more on swing and seam and pace and wickets.
yeah, I think if a young fast bowler wants to learn how to learn the art of swing, you must watch James Anderson bowl. I was watching the Test series recently,
Yeah,
England versus Pakistan, and they were doing an analysis of how his fingers are placed. I think he has magic fingers because just subtle changes in his wrist, and he has a couple of variations. One is where his fingers are together, which he can easily
yeah, yeah,
control
yeah,
the
yeah.
outside, and then there's
Wide
one which
apart.
is wide
Yeah,
So I think if a young bowler wants to learn the art of swing, he can watch James Anderson bowl. He's a perfect example
It must be so
of
hard for the
swing.
batsman, right? Trust me, like the one where you said his fingers are wide apart, that is the scrambled seam one. So it comes, you never know where it's going to nibble. So it's very hard for a batsman to pick it, and I don't blame them if you're playing and missing against James Anderson, because he, in properly Test cricket today, he's the one who probably makes batsmen play and miss the most. So I don't blame him.
Yeah, and even when he pulls that end ducker that he has, the batsmen are completely clueless. Like they're going on the front foot thinking it's an outswinger, but it suddenly comes in. So it completely baffles the batsman. It goes through everything.
Yeah.
So it's he's just very skillful, and it's very hard for the batsman to pick. So
It's a little cruel of me to talk about James Anderson's negatives and drawbacks, if I can say so. Uh, but yeah, let's obviously it's a tribute to him. But let's just talk a little bit about um, what he can do better potentially. Obviously, he's had a great career, having picked 600 wickets. It's no easy feat. But just a little bit about, maybe you want to talk about things he could have improved on, or he lacks.
um, I think uh, I think obviously he plays only one format, and in that also he's just a one-dimensional player. I think his fielding or his batting isn't the greatest. So that way, if his bowling doesn't perform that well, I think it's that one-dimensionality is a bit troubling for a captain in the team, and obviously the fact that he only plays one format. So I think that is one of the minor drawbacks, but his bowling is so good that it makes up for everything else.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
Don't take
yeah,
away anything from. We're not taking anything away from him, because regardless of whether we call him a three-dimensional or one-dimensional player, he's picking wickets and he's winning matches for England. So
he's
doesn't
he's
matter.
g- he's the best at his skill. He's the best at swing bowling. So because he's taken so many wickets, that just makes up for every even the minor drawbacks that he might have. So
Um, I think one of the things that usually, when because James Anderson is doing so well recently, people do not point fingers at his stats outside England and outside the Sena countries, which are South Africa, England, New Zealand, and Australia. We're not. No one really highlights that, and because in Asia, he always, in that sense, he's quite arrogant, if I can call him that, and a little. He complains a little bit too much, because he's always like, there's not enough pace in the wicket, there's not enough seam and
hmm.
swing on offer. When he's playing in the subcontinent, I remember in India when he came in 2016, and he couldn't get Virat Kohli out at all. He kept complaining about how the wickets didn't have enough pace, and he kept pointing out how Virat Kohli hadn't changed even a little bit. So in that sense, I think he hasn't had the best track record traveling overseas and performing there, where there's not enough pace and swing in the wickets, and there's not enough to offer for a fast bowler. I think that's where James Anderson has really struggled, I feel. Even in Australia, I think he got his first fifer in 2017, one of the Ashes tours. I forgot when it is. I think 2017 or 2018. He got his first fifer in Australia.
Yeah.
So that just proves that he, on flat decks in Australia, or anywhere for that matter, he hasn't had the best track record.
I think if batsmen are to be considered the best, they have to perform in the Sena countries and in the subcontinent. They have to perform everywhere to be called the greatest.
Yeah.
Similarly, I think bowlers have to perform in all conditions for them to be called the best. So that way, I agree with you that Anderson has had a great record in on tracks which have favored him, but on tracks which are a bit flat or do not give much to the bowler, he has struggled a bit. So that way. So that is one of the drawbacks of him.
Yeah, I think we've covered everything. So yeah, guys, that was it from us. Let us know what you thought about this episode. What do you think of James Anderson, of his skill sets, what he offers, what he brings to the table for England in national cricket? Do let us know. And yeah, that's it from us. See you guys in a bit. Take care.
It's like it's playtime when it's free time. In the dance, yeah, they have to talk a glance. Yeah, we stepping out the room. Got money in my mind.